So looks like we're in the clear, so we'll pop down here, see what we can sell here, see if we can get anything good. Probably not, but we'll see if they've updated their goods, which we should be able to tell. It does not look like they updated their goods. Why though? Why have you not updated your goods? It's been several days. Has it not been 3 days? I feel like it was 3 days. Well, whatever. You can still have these books and things. We'll just take some hub coins for their easy transportation instead of carrying books around. So $121, huh? Plate armor is worth 120 bucks, by the way, apparently. I think we want to keep everything else, so we'll just take some hub coins. Unfortunately, can only take 2, but he should save the remaining credit balance. So I guess we could take more science ID cards. I don't really feel like we need to. Take the medium battery, because they can be a little bit tricky to find. Although it is disposable. I don't really want any of this other stuff. I know EMP grenades, some people really like them. I really don't care about them very much. We could push to buy the Storm, but we do have other guns at this point. The Storm is a good gun. It's really expensive, though. I don't think we want that very much. Just give me the hub coins, yes. We'll head back to base. We'll raise our skills a little bit, pass some time that way. Not sure why auto move wasn't working. Let's try auto move again. Let's save again. And let's try auto moving back to base. So that one let us move. I'm not sure why it didn't let us move the first several times we tried it. Whatever. We are very hungry again. Why don't we grab some meat? Since we're at normal weight, we'll put some extra calories in us. Give me some meat. Just give me like 5 chunks of meat, I think. Will do. Step on the raspberry bush. No. No. We'll cook ourselves some cooked meat here. Get some extra calories in our body. Oh, what else is there to talk about? We talked about the channel getting a new follower alert sometime in the future. Hopefully, if everything goes well. Cooked meat. Give me 5 cooked meat. We'll just eat raw cooked meat. We don't need to make sandwiches or anything. Done. Eat some. Step away so we're not... Oh, it's on that tile. Okay, that's okay. We'll eat it like this. Satisfied. So that'll do for now. Put the fire out so we're not wasting wood. What do we want to read, chat? We should probably raise our fab, but that's more of a crafting thing. We need to raise electronics eventually. Mechanics. Well, okay, what are we going to be doing in the near future? We want to go to a lab really as quickly as possible. So what do we need for a lab? I guess nothing, really. Computers I don't care about at all. Mechanics maybe would be valuable, because I'm not sure if we're going to want to raise first aid. We're going to want to raise computers, possibly electronics. I don't remember if it was computers or electronics, because that will help us install CBMs more effectively. So let's focus first aid if we have the books now, which we have all these books. We should sort these. Let's just sort everything, even though it's going to put not great books in here. My God, we picked up a lot of books from that library. Okay, so we're looking for first aid books. So we're at first aid 1. So I think first responders handbook is 3 to 6. It is 3 to 6. Okay. So what other... I mean, I don't want to have to sift through these one at a time. I guess we read them all. Hey, I saw corpse in here somewhere. What is that? No God from a Corpse. What is that? That is a book I've never seen before. No God from a Corpse. This is a weather-worn paperback written by some skirt. Don't say skirt. Named Lee Rackett. It tells how rage and jealousy can turn a man or a woman into a monster. Story is hard-boiled enough to break a spoon. I hate that they refer to some woman as a skirt. Don't like that at all. I guess we'll just read through these books to get the access to all their recipes and to know what they have to offer. Hopefully this doesn't take an eternity like I suspect it would be. By the way, is it even worth it to go to a lab without an ID card? Oh yeah, 100%. If you have a pickaxe or a jackhammer, you can jackhammer your way in. The only benefit of the ID card is that it will let you in the front door, and it will deactivate a turret that is located inside the front door. That's the only benefit of having the science ID card. So for us, we're in the early game. We haven't found a pickaxe or anything like that, and pickaxes can be a little difficult to find if you don't already have access to their recipe and all this stuff. So like, it can be pretty tricky to find them if you don't find them immediately. So for us, we have the science ID card because it will allow us to get access to the lab without having the pickaxe. The problem is most of the good stuff in a lab requires computers or a pickaxe. So like, even though we can get in the lab, we can't get to everything we would want without a pickaxe or a high computer skill. For us, this particular character, our main reason of going to the lab, normally I go to the lab looking for bullets is the main reason, and then like mutagen and CBMs. For us, the main reason to go is because it will most likely have an auto dock, if not more than one auto dock. And the auto dock will allow us to install CBMs that we are able to buy from Hub 01. So for us, all we have to do is get inside. There is a auto dock layout in the lab that you can open without any computer skill or any pickaxe, and that's what we would be looking for. So for us, it's mostly about that. We would still like a pickaxe, but I think pickaxe is like Fab 7 or something like that. It's quite a difficult thing, and I really think, I've complained about this before as well, I think that a pickaxe should be auto-learned at a pretty low skill level. It's a pickaxe. People have been making them for an eternity. It's not something you need to and you don't need, like 7 fab is like the level where you're building your own plate armor and melee weapons from scratch. I feel like a pickaxe is something you can make at a relatively low skill level. Like, I feel like if you told me today, hey Murder, you have 1 day to build a pickaxe, I'm pretty sure I could do it with just crap I have around my house, and I've never done it before. So I feel like that should be something that's auto-learned at a relatively low skill level. So that's one of my complaints. If you find a tree next to the lab, you can crash it into the wall with an axe head, no card needed. That is true. We did that in was that in the tutorial series? I've done that. It's a little difficult to find them right next to a lab like that, where they're close enough that they hit both walls of the lab. But that's definitely possible. But it will depend on what lab you're at. Anyway, let's look for a first aid book here. Drop these books. We don't need these in our inventory. So hopefully we have a first aid book in here. Oh, why did these not show up in the list when I was trying to read before? So we want to read all these as well. Not sure why it stopped displaying them. Because we want to have access to everything. Internal combustions. On the plus side, if we do get to like Fab 7 or whatever, we probably have a book with the recipe for the pickaxe. Now, I couldn't make a jackhammer from scratch. That would require quite a lot of skill, but I can make a pickaxe for sure. Historic armor smithing. Oil enthusiasts. People who subscribe to oils as medication. I don't buy it. I don't think it's valid. It's always like some 40-year-old hipster woman when I talk to them, and they're like, oh no, anxiety oil changed my life. It's just oil though. It's not medication. I have a real pet peeve against people who not even alternative medicine, but like nonsense medicine. Like, you rub oil on your skin. It's not, if it makes you feel better, it's psychosomatic. It's not, it's you doing it with your brain. It's not the oil. It's, the oil has, basically is completely worthless and overpriced. And then, you know, to turn around and tell people, oh, you don't need your medication, you just need some oil. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. And it also frustrates me when people are like, oh, crystals heal people. I think that's one of the dumbest opinions a human being could ever have, is to think that rocks make you feel better. I've always, I know I might offend some people with saying that, but I think these are just really dumb opinions to have. So it does work. I mean, I guess if you're convincing yourself mentally, then it works. Then sure, it would work in that concept. But like, I've literally met people who are like, "Oh, you're on antidepressants. You don't need that. You just need a little bit of oil." It's like, you have no idea what you're talking about. You just sound like a crazy person. Do you have a DIY compendium they had at the hub? If it's at the hub, it's probably because I sold it to them, or I believe we did buy a DIY compendium because it was a really good book to have. Did I not? I could, because I remember us talking about wanting to buy the DIY compendium. Did I really not pick it up? No, obviously it wouldn't be on that pile. I guess we did not buy it. Thanks for pointing that out. We'll go back and purchase one, because it is a really good book. It has a lot of recipes in it. So we'll just take a handful of books to trade them. Copies of Becoming Jackson. When Jackson gains the mystical talent to alter his appearance on command, will he be able to recognize... I can't read internet. Will he be able to recognize himself in his own mirror? My thoughts are that probably not. If he changes his looks, he probably would not recognize himself. So we'll go up and pick up a DIY compendium. Good catch. I remember us talking about it in the last stream, and I could swear I had picked one up, but I guess not. So we'll go do that. We'll check other books, see if they had anything. Let's trade. Go ahead and take all these adventure. Nope, that's the wrong column. Take these adventure novels. Y, Z, A, B, C. Not sure why I have an antique adornments. I'm not sure if that's our last copy at the base or not, so we'll hold off on picking that one up. So it's 169. Where's the DIY compendium? Crafts, no. DIY, yes. J, please. So that's 15. And I guess we'll just take some more hub coins as payment for the excess. We have 438. Not quite enough for another Science ID card, but they're pretty common, so I'm not super worried about that. Looks like a deal. Oh, no. Did I unselect those other things? I did not. I don't want a bunch of light gloves. So now we can buy some Science ID cards, and we might as well. Yes. Gotta go. Peace out. Peace out, as my Canadian brethren would say. So we'll head back to base. Auto move, yes. Zoom. We'll head into base. Dump this stuff off. I'm just a snobby person. When I meet people who have opinions that I find dumb, it's really hard for me to see any value in them. Like, I have a cousin who was really into the anti-vax thing. She was an anti-vaxxer, and in my head, every time I would talk to her, I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, you know, she's a nice lady, you know, we're friendly, whatever. But in the back of my head, I was like, but she's so stupid. Like, she believes in anti-vax stuff, and it's like, how could I possibly think of you as an intelligent, you know, human being when you believe that you shouldn't vaccinate your children, that's the right decision? And so it's like, when I meet people who talk about the essential oils and stuff like that, flat earthers, yes, great example. Flat earth is another one of the dumbest things. Those are the two I rip on the most, is like anti-vaxxers and flat earthers. And I think that what happens is that, like, you go on social media, you go on YouTube, whatever, and you start out with something innocuous, right? Maybe your kid has the sniffles or whatever, and so you're Googling, hey, how does this happen? Or maybe you're into conspiracy theories, and you're like, hey, why do people think that the moon landing was fake? So you go and you Google it, and you find a video or article about why people think the moon landing is fake, and that links to another article, and you just kind of go down the rabbit hole. YouTube keeps suggesting videos to you, and 40 minutes later you're on a video where they're like 9/11 was an inside job, and you're like, how the hell did I get here? And I think it feeds people, the algorithms, they just feed people that garbage. You start out with something innocuous and you end up a flat earther who believes that the lizard people control the media, and it's like, it just feeds you over and over and over. And there are people who don't have the common sense enough to draw their own conclusions, and they just believe whatever they were told. You don't have the power to think critically. That's essentially what it is. People who lack critical thinking. So they just, the word sheep gets thrown around a lot. I don't really like that analogy because a lot of toxic online people and, white supremacists and stuff, they call people sheep. So I don't usually use that term, but they're people who just follow blindly in whatever someone tells them. One of the most important things you can do as a human being is to formulate your own opinions and take feedback and grow from experiences. That's one of the key elements. Your brain is an organic supercomputer that is one of the most amazing things in nature, but people don't actually apply any critical assessment of anything. They just go, and I just don't support that at all. It's one of the reasons why I grew kind of apart from religion in a lot of ways, is that I saw people just kind of regurgitating the same stuff instead of forming their own opinions. And I'm not going to badmouth religion. I think you should believe whatever you believe, and you should have no concern at all about what I think of your belief system. You should totally do whatever. But it hurt to see people I cared about just continually regurgitate things without thinking for themselves. And it was one of the main driving factors for me kind of leaving religion behind a little bit. So we have the pocket guide to first aid, which will take us to 2, but we don't have anything to bridge the gap between 2 and 3. And that's, oh no, this will take us to 3. I'm sorry. And then we have a 3 to 6 book as well. So we're good on first aid. So I think we're just going to grind first aid for the conceivable future. We need the MP3 player. What we got going on? Sheep are smart, monkeys are stupid. I don't know what to make of that comment. Grandpa scared me a lot when I was a kid with aliens, so when I grew up a bit, I started believing in aliens and ancient technologies, but now I understand my stupidity in the past. I think that the fact that you were able to recognize that, hey, maybe this is not actually true and pull out of it, I think that is some compliment. I don't think that makes you stupid, especially if you were a kid. And I still vaguely believe in aliens. I think that, I don't believe in ancient aliens and all that garbage. That's some of the dumbest crap I've ever heard, is when people tell me about how the aliens shaped humanity. I don't really buy that, but I believe that the universe is the biggest place, and statistically there is likely alien life out there. But do I think that people are sweeping by our nuclear test sites and abducting people and mutilating cattle? No, not so much. That's not really why would a superior intelligent race come here to cut up a cow? I don't really accept all that stuff. So I think that there is some validity to the possibility of alien life existing out there, but I don't know about intelligent life. And I don't think it makes you stupid. I think that what makes people, so in my head, what makes people stupid is when they continually believe something when they are constantly met with evidence to the contrary. Hello, Core0176, welcome. Thank you for following. Sorry I didn't shout you out sooner. So I think that people who lack the ability to change in the face of evidence are the people that I look down on. So when I meet internet trolls, for instance, they're one of the most upsetting part of my life, is constantly dealing with people who are trolling me on YouTube or on, we had some issues on Discord, etc. And so you meet these people who are hardcore racist or sexist or transphobic or whatever, and they will say things like, oh, these people aren't like me. They're not human beings. They don't have the rights I have. even though we've had a history in this country of like repeatedly degrading people, we can see that that's a very dark and horrible thing to do. We can see all the pain and suffering that people have caused over the course of hundreds of years because they had those sort of attitudes. And so when I meet an internet troll who's spewing racism or sexism or transphobia or whatever, all I can think is like, there's so much evidence that your opinion is the wrong opinion, but you and people like you just continually feed yourselves the same garbage over and over and over, which reinforces your opinions despite all the evidence that you're an idiot and need to change your life. I don't know how to say what I mean to say. I just think, learn from experiences. That's what makes you a human being, is your capacity to learn, and choosing to blindly believe something when you're confronted with evidence to the contrary is the hallmark of that's not what a human should do. A human should learn from their experiences, is my take. In fact, life in general, your entire life that you've lived up to, no, I don't want chunks of fat, I want meat. Your entire life up to this point that has shaped you into the human being you are right now, sitting there listening to me, you're a culmination of an entire life of experience that has shaped you. Experiences, friendships, abuse, all that stuff contributes to the human being that you are right now, because you're constantly learning and changing over time. So it's like, all I ask from people is like, if you're gonna have an opinion and somebody shows you evidence to the contrary, at least consider it. How many times on the internet do you see people who are like, oh, I don't believe this thing, and then someone shows you a graph from like literally the government that shows you this information, and then they say like, oh, well, that's just not true though, it's the government, so I'm sure it's just a lie. It's like, yeah, but there's like 9 studies that show that what you're saying is incorrect. Maybe you should just listen to science. Oh no, global warming's not real, I don't believe in global. I mean, there's so much scientific evidence, and like the precipitation rate is going up. Yeah, but it's warmer in the summers and cold in the winters, so I don't really believe in global warming. Just learn from, I'm trying to help you, like, why are you so averse to what is clearly information that supports your point being incorrect? Anyway, we've rambled about this for far too long. Learn from history, but don't believe all you see here. Yeah, think. That's exactly right. And granted, there's a lot of false information out there. I'm just saying, when someone shows you contrary evidence, at least consider it. And if you're wrong, admit that you're wrong. Like a couple months ago, someone posted for Cataclysm, there was people were modifying muskets, black powder muskets in the game, and they were modding them with all these like modern gun mods that obviously would not work on a musket, because someone added like specialized rails and things to the game so you could do that. And I like went crazy because of the idea of having a musket in the game with all these high-tech crap on it. I was like, that's not realistic, it shouldn't be this way, we shouldn't let this happen. And people were like, why, why do you believe this, why this? And I was completely wrong. I was having an argument that was on the foundation that there was no skill required and blah blah. But someone pointed out to me that I was incorrect, and I'd been like really vehemently arguing against it. And as soon as they pointed out that I was incorrect, they showed me evidence that I was wrong. I was like, okay, sorry, sorry about that. I was misinformed. I am embarrassed, sorry that I was making such a fuss about it. And I changed my opinion once I got evidence to the contrary, because that's what you're supposed to do. If you're wrong, you're wrong. Just accept it's okay to be wrong if you grow and learn from it. So we can't read because I can't see, and I can't quickly pick up the book because I can't see what the flashlight. So like if I try to read, everything's just listed as dark, so I can't see the skill levels. So I have to turn on a light so that I can quickly see which is the first aid book, which looks to be this one, Big Book of First Aid. So we'll read that, and then we'll stop immediately and turn off our flashlight so we're not burning batteries. And sun is going down. It's 9 p.m., but it's still pretty bright. So we'll read for a bit more. Okay, too dark to read. Head back inside. Again, we'll check today and see if the hub updated their stores, because we're still looking to buy some goods. For now, we will continue reading in our full plate armor. That's probably the issue. People can't confess that they're wrong. I mean, it's a lot of things. I think that as a human being, it's really natural to be embarrassed when you're wrong, and just not be able to recognize that you're wrong and not be able to say I'm sorry. I think is a really big thing. Especially, I mean, I can't speak for the world, but in America, people don't apologize. It seems like I apologize all the time. I'm a firm believer that if you do something wrong, or you are wrong, or whatever, just offer an apology. Because yeah, it's okay to be embarrassed. It's okay to feel sad that you were wrong or whatever, or you did something bad or whatever. Just own it is my thing. We've talked about this on the channel before. I see people in the news, and you see these guys that do really terrible things, and then when they're confronted with it, they just deny. They don't give their victims or anybody the opportunity to like confront them or heal or whatever. They just keep denying and pretending it was never an issue, and it leads to this sort of like thing where it's like you have 80 people saying you did something wrong, and you're just sitting there going, nope, I'm fine, I'm not the one with the problem. And that kind of stuff really gets to me, and I feel like we just don't gorge yourself. Let's just wait, not 30 minutes, but let's just wait and see when we go to full. Okay, because we want to drink something before we go to bed. I don't like the idea of going to bed thirsty. Ugh, no. Getting super irritated by that. We've been getting engorged more and more lately since they changed some of that stuff. I'm going to save and go to bed. I guess we're going to bed thirsty, and I guess we'll bandage again. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I get frustrated when I look at the world and see people that are not good people who can't. Oh, we fell asleep with our MP3 player on. That's great. It frustrates me when there are people who are like, I guess it comes down to like mean people. You know, I'm tired of seeing trolls online. I'm tired of seeing people in real life do terrible things, say terrible things, and have absolutely no accountability. I'm somebody who's done bad things in my life, and I've been accountable for them. I've gotten into therapy. I've taken my lumps, so to speak. I owned it because it was the right thing to do. And when I look around me in the world, I see people who are continually doing terrible things and have absolutely no accountability. They either get away with it, or they, even if they get, you know, punished or whatever, they don't own it. They pretend it didn't happen. They pretend they, you know, and it's super frustrating because, like, I don't know, part of it is like anger, because it's like me, I got in trouble for things and owned it, and I feel like if I had to deal with that, so should they. So there's that element of it, you know, like I go the speed limit, why can't you go the speed limit, that kind of thing. But it's also like I've been abused in my life, and I want, you know, would love for my abuser to be like, I'm sorry. And obviously it doesn't fix it, but it would be really nice to get some amount of closure with that. And so when I see other people, you know, who can't own their mistakes and stuff, it's always like, I just think less of them. I don't know what I want to say. Conversation's gone on too long. Their inventory has still not updated. It's been, at this point, several days. I don't understand why it's not updating. We came out here on day 2. It's now day 6. So I'm not sure why this is not updated. I feel very confident that it's been more than 3 days. I guess I am just counting wrong. I don't know. I must be counting wrong. So, again, we'll just trade this stuff in exchange for some Hubba 1 coins, I guess. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't clear my inventory before I picked things up. So we might still have Yeah, don't sell the big book of first aid. That would be a huge mistake. So don't sell that. Let's go back up. Is there anything else I don't want to sell by accident? How about we just don't sell anything that's a single copy? That way I'm guaranteed I didn't accidentally pick up the wrong things. So that's 250. We really ought to buy. Do I still have the hub coins in my inventory? No. We really ought to buy this storm. But I'd have to go back and pick up the cards or the coins. Let's do that. Give me these. And I guess just keep the credit. So let's head back and pick up the coins so we can buy the storm. We really ought to. We don't really have a rifle, and 9mm is so plentiful, it's just a no-brainer, I think. It's very expensive, though. I always apologize with everybody. Even called one first screen. It's always good to hear people like you, Murder, who think somewhat like oneself and not like everybody else. How those are just egotistical douches. I mean, I will say what I've always said, which is that I'm not a very good guy. I've done things that I really regret and things that, you know, I wish life had been different. I wish I had behaved differently for a long time. And you can never take back things that you've done like that. Like, there's no way for me to go back in time and fix the things that I've done. So for me, it's like the only thing you can do is be better than you used to be. And so for me, it's always been, and for years it's been this way. I don't think I'm a good person. I don't think that I have it all figured out. I don't think anything like that. I just think I'm better today than I was years ago, and I'm better, you know, today than I was 6 months ago. And it's just an effort, you know. It's not, I still don't think I'm a good guy. This is why I deal with self-esteem issues and stuff, is that I feel like I'm still not a very good person. But I can look back and say I've made significant improvement. And so for me, when people call me out or when I do something wrong or whatever, part of my instinct to own it is because I want to be better than I am right now. And so you own it, because what else can you do? That's step one. If you're sitting there and you're saying, oh, there's nothing wrong, why should I have to change? That's the problem, right? Like, if you, let's say you have a hole in your boat, you can't recognize there's a hole in your boat. Like, you can't fix it until you recognize there's a problem. So, like, I don't think I'm a great guy. I don't think I have it all figured out, but I'm trying. And that's like step one, right? So, I don't know. I try to be better than I used to be. I don't know.